My name is Kellie Wilkie. So I'm the lead physiotherapist for Rowing Australia, but I am also the head team physiotherapist when we're away with the Rowing Australia team. So I have a Bachelor of Applied Science in Physiotherapy, and I also hold an honours degree in physiotherapy and a sports masters in physiotherapy. Okay. So during a non-event time, so when we're in Australia and everyone's training in their local training environments, I manage all of the physiotherapists across the country looking after our athletes in their daily training environments. I communicate with them about the athletes that are injured, and particularly our top-tiered athletes that we're interested in monitoring very closely, that are our medal hopes for Rio. I also help design return to rowing plans for those athletes after they are injured, and I also give guidance to physios right around the country on the performance optimisation side of physiotherapy, and that's where we get to work more closely with strength and conditioning coaches, with the athletes' coaches, and also with Bionec to be able to make sure that we're identifying challenges that athletes have with their technique and trying to figure out barriers as to why they can't get into certain positions or aren't strong enough to do certain things, and problem solve those issues so that from a performance point of view we're contributing to a faster rower. So within the team we usually have a doctor, 2 physiotherapists and a massage therapist that all work really closely together in the one room. We review any new injuries that come into the room, particularly musculoskeletal injuries. The doctor and I will review together. We liaise really closely with the coaches and the high performance team about the impact that will have on the individual and the crew, and whether we need to make any crew changes. But also a large part of the time on tour is maintenance and knowing what ranges of motion the athletes usually have, whether they're getting tight, whether we need to help return them to certain ranges of motion that they need for rowing. And certainly through competition it's very easy for athletes to tighten up, or in particularly bad weather conditions for them to experience tightness that they haven't experienced before, and because we know what their normal is we can return them to that so that their rowing performance stays relatively constant and they're not challenged to be able to complete the rowing stroke that they need to complete for that boat. The most common injury by far for male and female elite rowers is low back pain. And the main thing that we're looking at to try and prevent that is ensuring that we keep the whole kinetic chain of the rower, so the whole body of the rower, under control. We know what ranges of motion that they need, we know what strength that they need, and we need to make sure that we're keeping all of that in optimal condition so that the low back is not loaded because they're getting tight or they're getting weak or they're not using their muscles in the right pattern. So that's the thing that takes up most of our time in terms of managing, and from a day-to-day training point of view, but also through competition.